Top 5 brokers to use for day trading. Now, this is for day trading. There's other definitely, we could get into them later on, but there's definitely, if for long-term investing in different things, but for day trading, in and out of trades, you want to get super fast execution, you want great charting, all that kind of stuff. This is what we're going to go over. And here they are. Here's a brief synopsis. And here we go. We've got Lightspeed at number 1, Thinkorswim number 2, Interactive Brokers 3, E-Trade still is hovering at 4. Here's my hover, because we have others coming in at 5, and we'll get into those. So let's get into it, team. Now, these are my top 5, right? And most of them, I would say a lot of people in chat would probably agree close to this list. Maybe moving a couple of those others up further, which on my list, let's give them some time. Add to that cred, that credibility, and they'll move up. But let's get into the top 5 brokers on my side. Number 1, Lightspeed. Most likely the fastest of executions you're going to see. Being a direct access broker. A DAB, as I'd call it, DAB. We like the DAB, but DAB, direct access broker. You want that. It's super fast. I mean, crazy fast a lot of the time when you see how fast you get executed. I mean, you're in as soon as you press the button if you're wanting a market order in. There's none of that, which we've had on them. We're getting to other brokers where there's that little hesitation at times. Never happens. Almost always has shorts available. Every stock you look at almost always has shorts available. I'd say 80% of the time, that's almost all the time. I'd say 75-ish% of the time you're going to have shorts available, if not maybe more. Sometimes they're free. Sometimes you do have to pay a location fee. I will tell you that. Sometimes they're a little high and you may want to just think about it. Not too high though. I mean, you've seen the most you've seen deck pay, maybe $100-ish for over 1,000. It's usually well over 1,000 shares, but usually it's relatively like $30-ish for 1,000 shares, something like that. You also get a great level 2 that shows you the LULD, where stocks are going to halt at, which is amazing to have. And the level 2 is by far the fastest level 2 there is. It's faster than E-Trade Pros. It literally will, and I've told that, and I've said that to Deck. We've talked about it in chat. I've said that. I've brought it up. The fastest level 2, at least that I've seen in my eyes, is Lightspeed's. It's literally the speed of light. It's so fast. And of course, now you can get in there. You can get in there with $10,000 now with the whole Deckmar Trades discount, which is awesome. Account minimum only at $10,000 now. Commission, yes, you do have to pay some commission on trades, but it's less than $3. It's not that crazy. Once and that's the thing, and I'll get to it. It's one of those for more of experienced traders, but when you get to that point, like Deck, obviously, you're not worried about $2 in, $2 out. You're not worried about that. The platform does cost $130 a month to use, but unless you trade a certain amount, which Deck does, you're going to get that free. But essentially, in the end, and that's what they're going to get. And I remember someone said that in chat, and it was a perfect example. It essentially just breaks it down to where they're going to get their money. They're going to get their $130 a month, whether they, it's the fees or whatever it is. You're going to pay about $130 a month to use their platform and for shorts, this, that, and the other. Now, sometimes shorts can be a little bit more, but I'd say at least on average, you're going to spend at least $130 a month to use the platform. Of course, like I said, sometimes shorts are free. Sometimes you locate them. But again, not for beginners, especially the charting. The charting, the creature comfort type features where this is so pretty and I can do this, that. And it's a little bit more, basic. It's definitely nice, but it's more basic. It's not as pretty as what the other platforms that we'll get into with the charting is really nice. A little bit nicer anyway. Web version available and platform, or web and mobile platforms are available as well, which is great to have. You can do ETFs, options, futures available to trade on. Like I said, but the greatest thing about it, and I just went over it. Executions. Level 2. Having those shorts at hand almost all the time. Margin rates are lower than almost all the way around. Here's an example they have, and they posted on their website to let you know, and I copied and pasted it. Overall, Lightspeed too, with what we're using with account size, around what we're most of us deal with, unless it's in which anyway, it starts here and it only goes up. Basically they show it's like they had a chart from like 10,000 to 20 to or whatever it is. Regardless, each one of them Lightspeed was at the bottom. And essentially, it was this differential every time. And I just copied and pasted this one. Lightspeed, overall, though, I think it was their average, 7.5%. E-Trade's 9.25%. TD Ameritrade's 9.75% margin rate. So 7.5%, you're essentially 2% lower on average than those other guys. That's nice to have. So number 1 for me, Lightspeed. You're getting that Lightspeed execution. Lightspeed at level 2 that just keeps up with it so fast. Lightspeed, literally timing sales. It's just... And the charting's super fast too. It's just not as clear as pretty. But it's all, like I said, about those executions, having those shorts at hand. Number 2 on the list, as it shows, TD Ameritrade Thinkorswim has top of the line charting. The best in my opinion. The most in this Moonshot says IB is the way lowest on. Well, I think that's because they're also international, maybe too. I think this may have been just for at least for that's what they were showing. At least for maybe American, domestic users. To number 2 though for me, and you can ask most in chat, and I know everyone loves them to death. He gets tons of emojis. To someone who's been in chat for longer than me, as in Iggy. So Iggy, POV Joshua. I know there's others in chat that use it. TD Ameritrade, Thinkorswim, by far the best charting. There was some that used to be in here beforehand that, like I said, oh my God, he banks so much. So anyway, tons of and that's what they use. But they had probably a lot of them use Lightspeed for their executions, but a lot of them also use Thinkorswim because the charting, like I said, by far is the cleanest. Really good and easy for beginners, as it's easy to set up. It's super easy to set up. I have that video that I can post for you afterwards, and it's easy to read. Finding and how to put indicators on the studies. Super easy. Options are endless for the platform, really, for the most part. For me, myself, executions are fast. I don't have to hesitate. I get them right away. I mean, literally, obviously, if I'm still in it this long, and as much as I love it, and I, again, watch my video, but my setup is super awesome. Get executions amazing. Honestly, they don't hesitate. I mean, yes, I've had, if I've traded, I don't know if it's 1,000 times. We'll just say 100 times. Out of 100 trades, 98 of them, they go right through. They don't hesitate. I mean, at least 90 plus for sure. I mean, if I did a real count. So it's great. I'm not worried about that. And if you need any help with that, I can help you with that. So I'm not worried about that. So their executions and fills are great. Not like Lightspeed, but they're good. I mean, they're great. I know some had some problems, but anyway, a lot of us love it. No account minimum to open there, which is awesome. So if you want to just go over there and go open up an account, you can, and go paper trade. Go do that. That's what I did. I did that 4 years ago. It's the best thing to do. Go open an account with them. You can open up their, last time I checked, that's what I did, because I know it's still a no account minimum to open an account, and you download the platform, and then boom, you can just paper trade, and then figure out how you like their system, how you want how your charting set up, how you want to trade. You can do all that. Level 2 is not so great. Totally understand that. It's not. But their time and sales are amazing. I love their time and sales. I love the way it keeps up on the side. Their ladder system, or their active trader, their ladder system, that's what a lot of people call it. But their active trader with the ladder is amazing. Those are the things I love the most about it. And yes, I see exactly. Character Trader agreed. Yeah, I love it. I love... no love for Schwab, at least not yet. No, sorry, but that's more long-term bags. You want some Schwab, you want some Fidelity. To me, that's a little bit more long-term. And yes, Arnold, real quick, Arnoldo, yes. AK, yes, the boot camp. There's no boot camp on Fridays. Never. Deck does the boot camps Monday through Thursday. Yes, and Jeff, that's where, and I will say that, and I'll mention that. Jeff, good mention. When there is a lot of fluctuation, a lot of volume, but it's not the only one, and I can mention this for others, Jeff. TD Ameritrade, E-Trade's other, and I'll need to mention this with others, struggle with getting fills immediately in the first 10 to maybe even 15 minutes at max. Definitely the first 5. First 5, you better be careful. Maybe set a limit order and then hope it gets filled, but then maybe have that exit order already filled, so maybe it'll get hit. Because sometimes, yes, but I've noticed that with other charting systems as well. That's why I left E-Trade Pro, and that was E-Trade Pro, and now they don't have that unless you ask for it in E-Trade Power, and we'll get to that. But yes, that is the only probably super downfall. That and their level 2 is not so great. Otherwise, 15 plus minutes in, Thinkorswim is a gem. 15 plus minutes in, Thinkorswim is a gem. How about that one? But the main thing to me, though, is a great starting ground for traders. If you're a newbie trader team, I'm telling you right now, it is one of the best to start with. Just because all the things you can learn, you can paper trade with it beautifully. You can see charting so well, learn which studies you like to use. Mobile platform is really nice as well. Mobile platform to me is probably tied essentially for the top one out there that at least I've downloaded multiple just to kind of see them. But for the most part, taking pictures, searched up pictures, where you search Google and stuff essentially. But I've gotten 3 on my phone. Regardless, it's one of the best out there. Love TD Ameritrade, Thinkorswims. I think they have one for each, but Thinkorswim's platform is great. It's essentially like having the platform on the computer, but on a little phone. No extra monthly fees to use the platform either. You don't have to pay there's no extra fees, no software fees. They really don't. Sometimes you get charged little small fees here and there, but really super small. Essentially, it's free to use. Very useful as well for options, futures, forex trading. And that's maybe where fees will come in a little bit more. As far as stocks, it's super cheap. For stock trading, it is just a great starting ground, especially for charting, learning what you're good and not good at. TD Ameritrade, Thinkorswim, love it. Number 3. And here you go. Interactive brokers. Yes, I have it at number 3 on my list. I love interactive brokers. This is more like Lightspeed. And of course, I guess they have super low margin, which I do have that on here, but I know they could be lower overall. Actually, used to have an account minimum, but they don't anymore. So there's no account minimum either for interactive brokers. Very nice to see. They offer 2 setups, Pro and Lite. So you can have a Pro version, there's a Lite version. They use the Trader Workstation as their platform, which I looked it up. Looks really nice, actually. I haven't heard any bad complaints about it or anything. Like, oh my God, it's amazing, compared to, like, say, Thinkorswim's, but it definitely looks nice. It looks very comparable. We'll pay commissions trading for the Pro version, will not with the Lite. So Lite's free. Lite is completely free to use, but I'm sure it's probably limited on what you can get. And I'm pretty sure most of these, if you like E-Trade Pro or a lot of these other services, you may have to pay unless you trade enough for either the platform or to get level 2 with the platform. Because sometimes level 2, people want to charge you for that. It's still one of those things where I remember when I first started, I'm like, what, I got to pay to get level 2? It's just that important sometimes. Very global as well. Probably the best overall for international. So any of you international people that are listening right now, Interactive Brokers is probably your way to go. 33 countries. It serves 33 countries, over 135 market centers. That's awesome. I think that tops for international, which is great. Executions are similar to Lightspeed. It's a one of the, DAB, direct access broker, one of the fastest execution speeds out there. Charting, again, with Lightspeed, just kind of, it's good, but to me, and not Thinkorswim, like I just went over, it's good charting, but to me, I'm still just so biased to that as well, but I think overall, it's just a little bit cleaner, more things you can do on Thinkorswim as of now. Mobile platform available. Shorts are available pretty much like, a lot, kind of like Lightspeed. I don't think probably as much so, because everyone kind of seems to seem, I don't know. It seems like it's maybe about even, but it seems like a lot of people love their Lightspeed availability for shorts. Great for options, Forex, futures, bonds, mutual funds. Also has won many awards. I mean, so many awards. I could have copied and pasted so many. I think a lot of the reason why is because international, so it wins so many different awards internationally and domestically. But this was had been one of the internationally ones. But best online brokers, 5 out of 5 stars. Best for active traders, best for retirement investors, best for international traders. A couple other ones for mutual fund. There's so many that it won for. So interactive brokers definitely high on my list for that reason alone. There's a lot you can do with it. Now, number 4 for now. E-Trade Pro. And that's only E-Trade Pro. I'll give it E-Trade overall because that's E-Trade. That is the company. But you got to get E-Trade Pro. And I'll get into more of that. But this is a lot more like TD Ameritrade Thinkorswim. Same, very similar charting, very similar setup. A little bit, not say similar, but somewhat similar. Get really clean and clear charting like TD Ameritrade, Thinkorswim setup. But just to me, it just wasn't as clear. When I was with it, E-Trade Pro, and still have it, it's just not as clear. You're going to get, to me, a little bit maybe, say E-Trade Pro, or I should say Thinkorswim is my favorite. I like the chart. It's a 9 point. I'll give it a 9.2 out of 10. Lightspeed, interactive brokers, I've looked at theirs. Of course, I have Lightspeed. I'd give it a, 8.1, just over 8-ish, or maybe high 7, somewhere in there. Not great, but good. E-Trade Pro, I'd give like an 8.5-ish. It's a little in between the 3, or I should, we're Thinkorswim at the top, then we got E-Trade Pro, and then we have Lightspeed / interactive brokers. Level 2, though, is where this is. And again, they had that. The main one they push now it's called E-Trade Power. Power is their main one they push now. And when they first switched over, I tried it I'm like, what is this? I'm sorry, but it's trash. To me, I cannot stand Power. E-Trade Pro is the route to go to. And also, too, on top of the fact, you've seen Dex Level 2, and where I read all the halts and where stocks are going to come out of halts at. Not that I'm like, I'm not like, whatever, Houdini and whatever you call it. You know what I'm saying? Predicting the future and see. I'm not on the dot all the time. But that's where I get it from is E-Trade Pro's Level 2. That level 2 is amazing. To me, now again, we'll go back to ratings. It's the best out there. It's just ahead of, because I guess it's a tie, because with Lightspeed, it's a little faster and you get the LULD. But man, E-Trade Pro, you get during the halts, Lightspeed freezes. You can't see the level 2. You can't see where stocks. It just you don't see anything. It's just blank. E-Trade Pro tries to show you where it's going to match up at, and it does a really good job. So that's the one thing. So I'd call them, both around that 9 out of 10. I love the level 2. So but you have to get E-Trade Pro, and of course it costs you $100 a month to use. If you do they let you still download it. And you have to have $1,000 in the account to actually use that. So there is no account minimum for their E-Trade Power, but for E-Trade Pro there is $1,000 account minimum. and it costs $99 a month to use, unless you trade. I forgot. I think it's 30 times in a quarter. I forgot how many times in a quarter. 90 times in a quarter. I forgot what it is. But like a lot of these, unless you trade a certain amount of trades in a quarter or a year or whatever they have set up, then you have to pay. Which $99 a month still not too bad. But if you're, like I said, a prime trader, not prime trader, but a trader that trades enough, you're going to complete enough trades to get it for free. It was always free for me. I always completed enough. Execution, about like Thinkorswim. Maybe a little bit worse in my opinion at times, because at least what I've seen, what I've had to deal with, it was a little bit worse. Execution, say Thinkorswim, Lightspeed Interactive Brokers, give them like a 9.7, or whatever. They're super high, like really close to 10. Thinkorswim maybe like an 8.7 to 9, at least for me. And then I'd give E-Trade right behind, 8.5 to 8.7, just a little bit behind them. Good to trade options, ETFs, bonds, futures, mutual funds. I've used E-Trade Pro before. Like I said, moved over to that because of Thinkorswim. Preferred it a little bit more. Could do the paper trading back then on it for sure. The mobile platform, though, to me is if not on par, if not better than TD Ameritrade / Thinkorswim's. Very good to use their mobile platform, E-Trade Pros. Or E-Trades, at least last time I checked. And again, free commission, which is nice to see on stocks. Now, others tied at 5. We have others, right? Here we go in the top 2, which I know a lot of you in here kind of moved over to, and one's kind of left the other in the dust, but because it was the first trade / stockbroker. We have TradeZero and TradeStation. Now, TradeStation about a year ago was really kind of more so taken over as that trade, that's that kind of the newer one that was really doing great and was fast and was a direct access broker, so on and so forth. And TradeZero kind of came along and really has kind of replaced it and kind of been the go-to for a lot of new traders. Let's get into both. Both are great for great options for newer traders. And once again, either one of these, honestly, TradeZero, TradeStation, could move up above, and both of them kind of take over the number 4 spot and move E-Trade Pro, E-Trade Pro back down. E-Trade needs to start doing some stuff soon. I wish Thinkorswim would make an update here or there. Not too much. I love a lot of stuff they do. Just an update here or there. But back to TradeZero, TradeStation. Both are great options for newer traders looking to go short, because you can short a lot on there. I know KM Black Bear's one. There's a many traders in chat. I think Carib Trader. I don't know if Carib Trader's one, but I know KM Black Bear's one. Of course, Neil's like our main one in chat that uses them in shorts. Do not pay commissions on most stocks. Of course, the shorts, you're going to have to locate those. We're going to pay commissions on those. You're always going to pay on those premium brokers, which they've kind of moved into. Being a direct access broker, you're going to have to pay some commissions on those shorts sometimes. You're going to have to locate them more so, even probably where, deck, you'll see the E up top where he can short for free. There is no charge. But sometimes he does have to locate. Well, here you have to locate a little bit more, it seems like, for those two. It's still nice to have, right? Nice to be able to short and not have to have a high. I don't think I'll have to get into it. I forgot let's see what the opening is. But you can go short, you can go long, no commissions on stocks. For TradeStation, I've heard good things about the trading platform, even looked it up. Gets really close again to kind of like the interactive brokers are rivaling Thinkorswim's E-Trade Pros for great features, options, seeing the studies. Even great for crypto, actually, on TradeStation. They have a computer, website, and mobile platform. TradeZero, I heard they're pretty good as well. Same thing, pretty decent trading, trading platform. Maybe not Thinkorswim worthy, maybe close to E-Trade Pro, that we're getting close to that now, but about like TradeStation Interactive Brokers. Have 4 different platforms to trade from. They have Zero Pro, which is the download that you can, the platform download like on your computer. The Zero Web, which a lot of people are moving to that Zero Web, or I should say a web version based platform. Both those are $60 a month. Of course, again, unless you trade, I think it's like 100,000 shares, but I didn't see how much per quarter, if it was per, but it was like 100,000, maybe it could be a year, but it was a certain amount. Again, like a lot of these, unless you trade, and usually with fees, you're going to pay that. With locate fees, you short a lot, you're going to pay $60 a month. Let's just be honest. So you're going to pay at least whatever that platform fee is, team, whatever I just said that platform fee was, which in this case, for TradeZero, it's $60 a month. You're going to pay that in shorts. Just get real with it. Executions are great on both. Both are direct access brokers. Commissions, both $0 for the beginner trader. Getting those free versions. What they have free versions, both of them do. Of course, they have versions you're going to pay for, but just go ahead and step it up and pay for those. Mobile platform, really nice on both. Comparable Thinkorswim and E-Trade, like I said. They're really starting to step it up. There's TradeZero and TradeStation. And again, if I had to almost want to kind of just have some fun and see which one I'd want to move over to and just to have that extra shorting broker and see, maybe I fall in love with it. You never know, but you get my point. That's how much I've kind of heard about them. Only thing bad I've heard, which I forgot who it was. I remember who it was actually, but who said, and I've heard it actually from a couple people, 2 or 3 people, but the weird bad fill prices on TradeZero. because no one really has TradeStation in chat. Maybe more people have TradeZero, and I think it is Carib Trader that has TradeZero. Maybe there was a couple others though that they just gotten bad fills. Even when they put a limit order in, they get filled at a different price. So some slippage is definitely going on and happening there. And yes, CMEG, which we're about to get into that. That is kind of, which I didn't look over that one too much, but Centerpoint I did. Centerpoint does have an account minimum though, and this is more of it, of course, for advanced users. You want that direct access broker. Centerpoint is great, but it does have an account minimum of 30K because they kind of want that little buffer of 5K above 25K. More like Lightspeed, premium broker, commissions you're going to pay for the platform, execution speed, level 2, you're going to have that LULD, and that's the thing too, with TradeZero and TradeStation, you have that LULD, these premium brokers within it. Any direct access broker, I'm pretty sure, and I've kind of looked it up, it seems like any direct access broker, you're going to have the LULD. That's great to have. That's where essentially LULD, limit up, limit down. That's where the stock's going to halt up or halt down at. But Centerpoint and CMEG kind of tie, and I forgot to look up CMEG really, and I forgot to add that because I know it's a lot of other ones that people like to use. Sorry, TT Life. But the main thing to do, is just go over to, CMEG broker review, and usually my favorite one's NerdWallet. NerdWallet will break it down, beautifully. And of course, NerdWallet hasn't seemed to maybe have done this one recently. But you just go through there and you find someone that's done a good, and 2018 seems one of the most recent ones I've seen. But just go through there and they have, a lot of these, I didn't mention the margin. Some of these have 2-to-1 margin, like Thinkorswim, Thinkorswim to E-Trade. Some of them have 4-to-1 margin or 6-to-1 margin. I think I'm pretty sure TradeStation or TradeZero, and some just have, like I said, it's either between 2 to 6 is what you're going to see. And I don't advise always using all that. Sometimes when you get to those ones, and that's why a lot of people would go over to SureTrader and really mess up, because they'd go over to SureTrader and open an account with, say, 1,000 or 2, whatever the minimum was. And so they essentially had 6 times that amount. Well, you go full in if you can easily, next thing you know, be $3,000-$4,000 in the hole. So that's how a lot of people ruin their account. So even if you can go 6 times in, your margin 6 times the amount, be careful with that. When you have that 6-to-1 margin, 4-to-1 margin, be careful with those. That's why, I stick to that 2-to-1. That's best for me. I know my limits. I don't want to just blow my account up. One day that's fine. Maybe for fun, let's go for a 4-to-1, 6-to-1. But yeah, be very careful with those. And that's it. That is my kind of lesson right there for you guys as we kind of get into almost a closing bell here for the top 5 brokers use for day trading. And of course, kind of more than 5, really 6, 7, 8 there. Yes, you can throw CMEG in there with Centerpoint there at the bottom. But those are my top. The top 2, 3 for sure, in my eyes, would be Lightspeed, Thinkorswim, Interactive Brokers. Then from there, you kind of have that's that like top tier. Then right below that, you have E-Trade Pro, if you can get it still. TradeZero, TradeStation, Centerpoint, and CMEG kind of fighting for that. But I think TradeZero, TradeStation is really fighting more so for that, at least for beginner, newer traders. Our style, what we're looking for, a little bit more so than Centerpoint and CMEG. Where you can get in, like I said, with that second tier of 3. So first tier of 3, you want to go with Lightspeed, TD Ameritrade, Thinkorswim, Interactive Brokers, and that kind of speed, to me, right below it, but still kind of right there with them, E-Trade Pro, TradeZero, TradeStation. You can't really go wrong with those 6. That's a good starter ground for newer traders with account size of about 10,000 or less. Because the only one right there that has an account minimum would be Lightspeed. Lightspeed with 10K. The other ones are free. They're hey, come on, sign up. There's no account minimum, which is nice to see. That's when you get into Centerpoint. I'm pretty sure CMEG. And then, of course, for for international, any one international team, my number one to go to would be Interactive Brokers. If you're not in the United States, to me would be Interactive Brokers as fun as what I've heard, what I've seen, what I've looked up.